Welcome back to the channel. Before we get into the predictions, you guys hit 100 likes on the last 4 card prediction video, which also happened to be for the same exact card, pretty much the same exact fight. Some movement around has happened and whatnot. So I decided to do the whole video again because the main event fell out. And now we got a new main event. Siakam got injured. Moicano steps up. Some fights moved around. You know, it happens. So I'm going to do another 4 card prediction video. And with the other video, I said you got it to 100 likes, I will give you a parlay, and I'm going to give you that in this revision. Since I had to make this video again, I didn't really have to. I decided to make it again, but yeah, since I decided to make it again and adjust it for the fights that have been changed around, I'm going to give you guys a parlay and a couple props for this card shortly here, very shortly, probably in the next minute or so. I'm gonna give you a parlay and a couple props for this card to play if you want to play or tell, or at the very least see what I'm playing or some of what I'm playing. But yeah, you guys got it to 100 likes for that last video. So in this video right here, I'm gonna give you guys again a parlay and a couple props. And if you get this video to 100 likes, then I'll drop maybe a prop, maybe parlay, something. I'm gonna drop something if you guys get this to 100 likes on the next prediction video, which will probably drop sometime in February, because the next fight is like February 13th, February 12th. I don't know the exact date, but it's in February. It's not in January, it's in February. But yeah, the next full card prediction video, UFC video, if you get this video to 100 likes, I'll drop a parlay prop or maybe a combination of the two, combination of the three. But yeah, I'll drop a bet or some bets on the next full card prediction video if you get this video to 100 likes. But yeah, again, you guys got it to 100 likes, so here are the prop. Well, let me do that again. Let me do it again. I'm not even going to edit this out, but yeah. Either way, you're going to get it. Either way, you're going to get it. But yeah, we're gonna roll with it. I'm not even going to try to edit that out. But yeah. Now I'm like gonna cut off the video. Like, we're tired of hearing your ashy hands rub together. But yeah. But what I have? I have props and I have a parlay. So I have 1 parlay and 3 props, a total of 4 bets. So here is the 1 parlay and the 3 props. And here you go. And you can always, pause the video. So I just dropped it right there. It's gonna be there for like, probably was there for like a split second, but you could rewind back and pause it, and it's gonna be there as long as you want, as long as your battery lasts, or as long as your electricity lasts. But it's there, so you can rewind back, go to that. But yeah, that's the parlay, and those are the props. And now we get on to the predictions. Welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to another UFC fight prediction video. In this video, I'll be predicting the full card of fights for UFC 311, Makhachev versus Moicano. So the name, you might be getting like Mandela effect or whatever type of feeling you're getting. It is not a dream. This did happen. It was originally supposed to be Siakam versus Moicano. So whether you thought the original matchup wasn't there, or whether you think this is a dream and this is not happening, I'm gonna pinch you right now. It is happening. So that fight was originally scheduled, but literally a day before, Siakam, I guess, hurt his back trying to impress Nina Drama or whatever. And yeah, Siakam's off the card now. He looked healthy and everything, but now he's off the card like less than 24 hours or around 24 hours before he was scheduled to fight. Looked good all the way up to the, right up until the day of. Looking in the best shape of his life. But yeah, the fight has fallen out. And now we have a new main event. Moicano steps up from fighting Dariush to now fighting for a belt. Yeah. But yeah, we got a new main event. And the predictions for the most part stay the same. But again, the matchups have changed. But the other predictions I already had are still there. But I'm going to predict these fights again. I'm going to be much quicker because I've already predicted them anyway. So I'm just going to run through them, predict all the fights again, and predict some of the new fights. But yeah, let's get into it. Let's just run through it. So first fight we have in the flyweight division, we got Tagir Ulanbekov versus Clayton Carpenter. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going, I went low confidence Tagir Ulanbekov to beat Clayton Carpenter by decision. I just feel like Tagir Ulanbekov is the better striker. He's much more experienced. He's longer. He's taller. I I think he's the better wrestler. I think Carpenter, I think the area that Carpenter really beats, or I would say has an edge over Ulanbekov, is maybe in the grappling department. But again, I think Ulanbekov can control with where this fight takes place with his wrestling. But I do think it's going to be a competitive scrap. I think Carpenter is going to challenge him in the grappling, at least be competitive on the feet enough. But I think Tagir Ulanbekov is going to be the better overall fighter, and the guy that's, in a fight where I think both guys you could say are kind of more so grapplers. He could be the one that can determine where the fight takes place more. And I think he's the more well-rounded fighter, more experienced fighter, longer fighter. And I think I'll strike Carpenter. I think he can score more takedowns than Carpenter, build up more control time than Carpenter, and I think he can neutralize the submission grappling of Carpenter and beat him by decision here. So in this one, I got Tagir Ulanbekov via decision. Now to our next fight, we have in the bantamweight division, we got Ricky Turcios versus Bernardo Sopaj. And how do I feel about this one right here? Went low confidence, Bernardo Sopaj to beat Ricky Turcios. Turcios, like, is still at the end of the day an Ultimate Fighter winner. He may not be the most technical or like the text. I'm not gonna say he's not technical. I'm gonna say he's not textbook. Like, a lot of people are, like, even like look at Dricus Duplessis and so many other fighters. What's his name? Something Diego Sanchez, like, and many other fighters. Rainier de Ritter. It's guys that are far from technical, or Tony Ferguson are far from textbook. Like, they're technical in in certain aspects, and they understand the game at a high level, but how they, implement their skill set is very unorthodox. And I feel like Turcios is in that book, so I can ever count him up. Sopaj is definitely the more well-rounded fighter. I'm picking him to win, but I'm not gonna be one of those people like, oh my God, Sopaj is locked. Sopaj is far from a lock. A guy who, maybe not the biggest guy, coming off a brutal knockout loss. It's been some time in between then, but still. It's like Bernardo Sopaj is far from a guy that you're going to put a lot of confidence in, especially against a Turcios who can very much still be a wild card in his division. Like, he's a guy who's very skilled, just very unorthodox and very experienced, solid fighter. But I will favor Bernardo Sopaj's overall balanced game. I think he's like no real weak areas, not a weak chin, solid boxing, solid striking, solid wrestling and grappling as well. He's just a more technical, more textbook, clean fighter. I feel like Turcios is kind of like a bit of wild dog, high-paced guy, and that could play a factor because it's not like Sopaj is a big finisher. Again, all these things leading to me to not really put a whole lot of confidence in Sopaj and not really put any investment, any bet on him or nothing like that. But I'm picking him. I do feel like he's overall a more balanced fighter. He fights more polished than Turcios, and I think that will lead him to win in a close fight. I think Turcios is going to bring it and definitely bring the best out of him. Very competitive scrap. Could see it going to a split decision, but I think Bernardo Sopaj's cleaner game, more effective, more efficient, will prevail, and I think the judges will see that as well. That he's landing the cleaner flusher shots. He's done with cleaner technique. Turcios might be doing higher output, pushing a higher pace, but Sopaj is going to have the cleaner work, and I think the judges are going to be more receptive to that, and I think they're going to give this, the decision to Sopaj. So in this one, I got Bernardo Sopaj via decision. Now to our next fight, we have in the bantamweight division, we got Rinya Nakamura versus Muin Gafurov. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going low confidence Rinya Nakamura to beat Muin Gafurov. And it's another case where it's a fight where a lot of people are going crazy about one particular fighter, but they're still going in with a very tough test, and they themselves aren't very much proven yet. Like, Rinya Nakamura, he's a good prospect, but he's far from proven. And Muin Gafurov is, solid enough veteran, and he has been looking the best he's ever looked in recent fight, or at least in his last fight, he looked the best he ever looked. So, and I don't think he's gonna be so eager to give up a loss, go back to losing ways after finally tasting victory. So, Muin Gafurov is gonna be a tough test. He does have the grappling ability to address Nakamura's wrestling. He has striking to give Nakamura issues well, but I do think that Rinya Nakamura is the bigger, stronger fighter, packs more power, and I think he'll be able to use his size to score takedowns. And then he'll be able to use his speed, athleticism, and power to land the cleaner shots down the middle. I think Gafurov is more like a windy, spinny type of fighter, where Nakamura is kind of like a straight line fighter. I think he'll be able to land the bigger shots down the middle, and those will be the shorter shots, the straighter, shorter shots. And they will land with more effect and have more effect on the respective opponent. And I think that Gafurov is gonna give him a good test, but I think Nakamura is gonna be able to edge the wrestling, land the heavier shots, and be the cleaner fighter throughout the 15 minutes and win a decision over Gafurov. So in this one, I have Rinya Nakamura via decision. Now on to our next fight we have in the women's bantamweight division. we got Carol Rosa versus Eileen Perez. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going Eileen Perez, low confidence to beat Carol Rosa. Rosa definitely on the feet, definitely the better striker, definitely the better overall fighter. Clinching on the feet, striking on the feet, distance, long range, short range, the better striker without a doubt. Eileen Perez grappling, I think everyone on the ground, she's the better grappler. I'm not gonna say on the bottom. I don't think she wants to be on bottom at all. But on top, controlling, dictating, getting the takedowns, winning the takedown battle, I think those areas where Perez is clearly better. And Carol Rosa, she's a beast, and I think she's on I don't know if she's on a good streak right now, but Perez is on a good streak. I think Rosa like looked good in her last couple fights. But yeah, as far as this one, my angle for this one is the Sarah McMahon fight, where a deteriorated version of Sarah McMahon was able to take down Rosa and relatively dominate her over the course of 15 minutes. And I think Eileen Perez, she's young, she's in her prime, she's getting better with each and every fight she's had a good team. And I think she's going to be exploit the wrestling just as a deteriorated version of Sarah McMahon was able to. I don't think this is going to be such a pretty fight, pretty dominant fight, but I do think that Eileen Perez will be able to get takedowns. I think she will be able to get control time. I think she'll be able to land good ground and pounder time. I think she kind of wears down as the fight goes on, but I don't think it's going to be that much that Rosa can really take advantage of it and either stop her or do enough to win enough rounds. I think Perez is going to be able to get good control time in at least 2 of the rounds. I definitely think she's going to have one round where she's going to really have strong top control. I could see her having control in all 3 rounds, but I feel like it's going to be like a 2 rounds. They're probably like a struggle controlling like a 3rd round or something. And Rosa being able to edge the 3rd round, but Perez having a strong 1st round and a strong enough 2nd round that's clear enough that she won those first 2. Then she kind of just ekes by the 3rd round and either wins like a 20, probably like a majority, like 29-28, couple of them in like 130-27. But either way, Perez has been able to use her wrestling to get Carol Rosa down, take her out of element, and grind out a decision over Rosa in a path that has already been beaten for Rosa. Not too many times, but it's definitely a path that has been beaten. Whereas when I look at Perez's loss, I really haven't seen where it has been a fight where she has been lost by striking so much. It's been like one fight where she got submitted by a better grappler, which I don't think Rosa really is. Now, we have seen a fight where Rosa clearly got out-wrestled, and Perez has a path that has already, been seen, been done, and she has 15 minutes of tape of that happening. I think Perez can replicate that, and I don't feel like Rosa has so much past that up in her game. And it's not like she has really fought an opponent that brought a similar approach to even show that she has really, evolved or passed that area up. I think Perez can, definitely test it. I think she'll pass that test and use that same path, in her own way, and be able to grind out Rosa to a decision here. So in this one, I have Eileen Perez via decision. Now to our next fight, we have in the middleweight division, we got Zach Reese versus Azamat Bekoev. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going low confidence Azamat Bekoev to beat Zach Reese. And yeah, definitely a low confidence fight. I ain't gonna be like, oh, Bekoev, look at the EV or look at the OV. This should be a lock. Every time you see an EV, OV, you should put a lock. Now, low confidence. Reese has a good chance here, but I'm just gonna get to the point with this one. I'm going to get to the point. I'm not going to try to drag it and make it a 3-minute prediction for this one. Just make it probably a minute, 2 minutes, maybe less. But, yes, Reese has more experience in the UFC. He's big, like 6'4", got some power as well. But the thing that stands out the most for me against Reese is the fact that he has like a 20%, 25% takedown defense ratio. And I think Bekoev, at his core, he's more so wrestling. He could exploit that. On the feet, it's definitely more pick him. On the ground, I don't think so. I don't think it is as much. And he's even gave him a takedown to, I forget the name of the guy he gave up a takedown to, but I think just about every single fight he has been in the UFC, he has given up like one takedown. Even his contender series fight, he gave up a takedown. So his overall takedown defense is like 25%, 20%, which is not good, especially going there with a guy who has a wrestling background. Again, on the feet, it's a toss-up. Probably would even favor Reese on the feet. But this is MMA. This is not a striking matchup. Another thing, Reese does like to play BJJ as well. And I think Bekoev can neutralize his BJJ. He can put him on the ground with that lack of takedown defense. He can put him on his back when he wants to. Not say all the time, but at a good clip, he could take him down, put him on his back. Bekoev has been 5 rounds. He has shown a decent gas tank, so it's not a case like he a guy that can only go for 2 takedowns, then he's going to gas out. It's also like Reese's guy that has very good body work. He's not a stepping you to the body, hook you to the body, uppercut you to the body. He's not a big body work type guy. So another thing, Bekoev has decent enough cardio. Reese is not like no body snatcher or nothing like that. Reese has little to no takedown defense. He plays BJJ, so it kind of seems like if Bekoev is having issues on the feet, he'll be able to take Reese down, neutralize Reese's BJJ, and Reese most likely will play BJJ. Like he'll try to attempt submissions off his back, and that will end up with him spending too much time on his back, and Bekoev would be laying good ground and pound, break him down, and use that to grind out a decision over Zach Reese. So the biggest thing for me is the lack of takedown defense for Reese, going in with a guy who is a wrestler at his core. And I think Bekoev will be able to exploit that and be able to grind out a decision over Reese. So in this one, I have Azamat Bekoev via decision. Now to our next fight, we have in the lightweight division, we got Grant Dawson versus Diego Ferreira. And how do I feel about this one right here? I'm going low confidence Grant Dawson to beat Diego Ferreira. Yeah, low confidence bro right here to beat bro right there. But yeah, Ferreira, he's up there in age. He's pushing 40. Solid fighter, solid talent. And he definitely has a very good chance right here. That's why I'm going low confidence. And his BJJ is more than enough to keep him in the fight. Then on the feet, he's a dog. Like, he might not be the prettiest striker, never was, never will be. But I definitely think he's a better striker of the two. And his BJJ can keep him in the fight, give him situations to scramble, maybe look to finish the fight on the ground, or get back to his feet and push on the feet. But guy is pushing 40. Grant Dawson has dropped I think he had like one loss, or at least one or two losses. And I think one draw where he kind of, either way, what I'm trying to say is I feel like Grant Dawson has had his setbacks and he's not trying to go back. Especially not to a guy that's like pushing 40, had his time, went as far as he could go. And now he's trying to creep into his era, or his chance to, climb the rankings. I don't think Dawson's going to be so willing to, struggle so much or lose again. I think Grant Dawson's going to fight smart, basically strikes in up enough, get the takedowns, be heavy on top, let Ferreira play the BJJ off his back, try to go for scrambles, and just out-scramble, outpace him, be very heavy on top, and just be quicker, younger, faster on top, and be able to beat Ferreira to the transitions, stop his submission, stop his just be a step ahead on the grappling department so Ferreira can't really get his hips moving the way he wants to get them. Like, just be a step, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but all in all, he's going to be a step ahead on the ground. Be heavy on top, younger, faster, more fluid, and just be heavier on top. But a rough fight, but Dawson's going to do what he needs to do to get the win. He's not going to try to force a stoppage. He's not going to try to force heavy ground and pound. If he needs to just hold a position, get to like a half guard, and just be like lockdown half guard position to kind of wear Ferreira down, and maybe just throw some little short choppy body shots, some little weak hammer fists, some little elbows in there. Do what he needs to do to, wear down Ferreira over the course of that 15 minutes and grind out a decision over a still very game Diego Ferreira. So, in this one, I have Grant Dawson via decision. Now to our next fight, we have in the light heavyweight division, we got Bogdan Guskov versus Billy Elekana. And how do I feel about this one right here? I'm going average confidence Bogdan Guskov to beat Billy Elekana. I think Elekana's a decent prospect. I think he's kind of jumping in a little bit deep, short notice, going there with a guy who has been putting up good wins against decent competition for where he's at. Like, he only joined the UFC last year or maybe a year and a half ago, something like that. But now he's been climbing the ranking. He found his groove and has been looking good. I still feel like Billy Elekana is a bit raw. Like, he's a solid fighter, but I feel like it's stuff he got to patch up on. I definitely don't like how he deals with pressure. He's good when he has some range, but when people start to pressure him, I feel like his defense kind of falls apart. And that's what Bogdan Guskov's going to do. He's going to crowd him. He's going to crack him. And I don't feel like Elekana is such a big power puncher. I feel like he might have a slight grappling edge, but not that big a grappling edge. And I feel like Guskov has been working on that area of his game. So I think he'll be able to address the grappling enough, pressure him, break him down, corner him, and be able to drop big hooks on him. And I think Elekana's going to start to crack to that pressure. I think Bogdan Guskov's going to be able to put him away in the second round via TKO. So in this one, I have Bogdan Guskov via second round TKO. All right. Now to our next fight. We have in the heavyweight division, we got Jailton Almeida versus Sergey Spivac. And how do I feel about this one right here? I'm going average confidence Jailton Almeida to beat Sergey Spivac. Yeah, Jailton Almeida, without a doubt, is the better grappler, without a doubt. Some of you might say, oh, Spivac might have this, might have that. Spivac has never really shown to be such a big power puncher, never shown to really have great takedown defense. He worked on his grappling to have good takedown offense and better submission grappling, but his takedown offense, I still feel like it hasn't really improved much. I feel like it's his offense that has improved. And yeah, Jailton may not too worried about his wrestling. He's not worried about his grappling at all. And on the feet, Spivac at no point in his career has ever really shown to be a big puncher or really shown to have great boxing. Never really shown to have great boxing. And definitely never really shown to have great power. He always kind of been more of a volume guy. So I think Jailton Almeida, if he was taking down Blaze, I think he should have no issue taking down Spivac. I think he'll be able to take Spivac down, break him down over the course of the first round, take him down again in the second round, break him down, then be able to find that submission in the second round. So in this one, I have Jailton Almeida via second round submission. Now to our next fight, we have in the bantamweight division, we got Peyton Talbott versus Raoni Barcelos. And how do I feel about this one right here? As I'm going average confidence, Peyton Talbott to beat Raoni Barcelos. Yeah, all the momentum just on Talbott's side. He's a young prospect. I think he's still undefeated, I believe. Yeah, undefeated young prospect. He has the look. He's this, he's that. Like, you know, it's pretty much rolling out the red carpet for him. Like, it seems like he's going to do great things in the sport. Whether he becomes champion or not, I think he's going to be in that talks probably for a good number of years. You know, whether he gets the belt or doesn't get the belt in his career. But yeah, it seems like they're rolling out the red carpet for him. But I do give respect to Raoni Barcelos because I'm not going like high or lock on him. Raoni Barcelos, if he does lock in, he's one of the most skilled war-rounded fighters in the whole sport, to be honest. But sometimes that's just not enough. Like, you could be like, have experience, you could be world champion outside of UFC in multiple leagues. But when it comes to UFC, it just doesn't click. It just, maybe you got there too late. Maybe you just dropped a losses when you know, a couple close losses. Then you go from close losses to good competition and start getting knocked out by people. Like, sometimes it just doesn't pan out. And I feel like that's kind of what Barcelos is. And now he's going there with a young guy with a lot of steam and who's only getting better, where I feel like Barcelos is good and well-rounded and talented still. But it definitely seems that Barcelos has plateaued. And Peyton Talbot's still getting better, looking scarier every single time he steps out. He's the bigger, younger fighter. And I think he'll have made improvements in adjustment in the grappling, or at the very least made enough improvements to be able to address the grappling Barcelos, that he'll be able to have, you know, extended periods of time on the feet and find a space to land the bigger shots. And I think once Talbott connects on Barcelos, I don't think Barcelos' chin can deal with the power of Talbott. And I think Talbott's going to be able to crumble him, break him down over the course of the first round, and eventually be able to find that shot on the chin of Barcelos and put him out cold in the second round. So in this one, I have Peyton Talbott via second round TKO. Down to our next fight, we have in the middleweight division, we got Kevin Holland versus Reinier de Ridder. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going low confidence, Reinier de Ridder to beat Kevin Holland. And this one going to be real short. Kevin Holland's an amazing talent, but a guy that just always kind of giving a half effort. And even the way he talks, he just said, like, I'd rather be paid, I'd rather be this, rather be that. I don't really want to be a champion and make a little bit more money for a lot more work. So this guy he has all the talent in the world, but the mindset is just terrible as far as, like, if you really want to advance in the sport. Like I said, Holland has a very good chance, and he really should win this one. But yeah, on top of his mindset, Holland also just historically does not have the best track record against grapplers. Like the Dolidze fight, last fight, that's why he should have won. Dolidze does not have good takedown offense. The only reason Dolidze got a takedown, is because Holland started just throwing caution to the wind, started just throwing power shots that left him open for an easy takedown. But if he just worked behind the jab more, stay balanced, the takedown would have never been there because Dolidze's takedown offense is terrible. The Ridder, same thing. His takedown offense is terrible. Like, two BJJ guys with terrible takedown offense, but world-class BJJ. Dolidze, the Ridder, world-class BJJ, but literally like zero takedown offense. And you gave up a takedown to Dolidze because you got sloppy. You'll find some way to end up on your back against the Ridder, and the Ridder will find a way to tap you out. So probably going to be kind of like a Dreykus fight, probably like a sloppy first round for the Ridder, with Holland looking very good. Then Holland probably get overconfident or whatever he does. Maybe he gets clipped, something happens, some goofy, wacky thing happens, and a scramble ensues, and Holland just ends up on his back, and then the Ridder just goes to work and eventually finds a submission in the second round. But yeah, Holland does not have the best track record and doesn't have the best mindset, and I think he'll find a way to lose. The fight will end up on the ground, whether it be a club and sub, whether it be a trip, whether it be a slip, whether it just be Holland crossing his feet, whether it be Holland over swinging or doing a jumping karate chop and he slips, something happens. The fight going to end up on the ground, and the Ridder's going to get on top. Holland not going to be able to get up, or he's going to try to force his way back up, give his back, and probably get tapped out. So yeah, something crazy happened, crazy type fight, but Holland's pattern consists, and he gets tapped out by the Ridder. So in this one, I have Reinier de Ridder via second round submission. Now to our next fight, we have in the light heavyweight division, we got Jiri Prochazka versus Jamal Hill. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going low confidence Jamal Hill to beat Jiri Prochazka. Yeah, both these guys are strikers. No ifs, ands, or buts. They're both strikers. I think Jamal has the better defense. I think he has the sharper hands, and I think Jiri Prochazka just has almost like negative defense. He relies on his chin, he relies on his heart, he relies on his grit. But I think Jamal Hill's too sharp, and he's gonna be able to draw Prochazka into his punches. And Prochazka gonna walk in with his chin up in the air, probably trying to do overhands and front kicks and all types of stuff, and probably walk right into overhand, get clipped, get rocked, and get put away in the second round. But probably a fun fight up to that point. Probably, at some points he probably gonna be surviving, getting clipped, maybe get dropped, maybe get wild, but here still just keep coming with more intensity. But all Jamal Hill is he's gonna stay calm, stay composed, and just every time Prochazka offers up, he's gonna be there to counter. Smartly counter, not just there like a robot just drawing a counter every time it's seemingly there. But he's gonna be smart to draw it out and be able to exploit the lack of defense from Prochazka. And Prochazka gonna be more than willing to offer that chin up. And Jamal Hill's gonna be more than willing to take his head clean off his shoulder. And I see Jamal Hill knocking Prochazka out in the second round. All right. Now but did I say it? But yeah. So in this fight, I have Jamal Hill via second round TKO. Now to our co-main event, we have in the bantamweight division for the undisputed UFC bantamweight championship of the world, Merab Dvalishvili, reigning champion, versus Umar Nurmagomedov, the challenger. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going average confidence Umar Nurmagomedov to beat Merab Dvalishvili. Merab is a great guy, amazing champion, but I just think it's Umar's time, and he's going to show it out there. I think Umar has a wealth of experience dealing with guys that bring exactly what Dvalishvili brings. Maybe not to the exact cardio, which is really the whole, probably like 80% of it is what makes Dvalishvili so effective is his pace and his cardio, which I think no one replicate. But where Nurmagomedov can't find opponents to exactly replicate that, he can with Shark Tank and constantly bringing guys probably with the build of Dvalishvili in wrestling skills superior to Dvalishvili. And again, Shark Tank. So you're not going to have one guy that has that cardio in that pace, but you probably could bring in like 5 guys fresh, after each other. And they could bring a higher level of wrestling and match a similar pace to Dvalishvili, spread between like 5 different fighters. And I think Umar has been fighting with and training with guys like this his whole career. So I think he would do a good job of addressing the wrestling, do a good job of slowing the pace of Dvalishvili, not outpacing Dvalishvili, but maybe forcing Dvalishvili to work harder and just being a more technical fighter and then capitalize on the situation. Make Dvalishvili had to work 4 times as hard, while Nurmagomedov is 4 times more technical and 4 times smarter out there. Not to say that Dvalishvili is dumb. I know he don't like to be said that, but he's not dumb. But I think Umar Nurmagomedov is definitely the more technical wrestler. I think Dvalishvili, matter of fact, Umar overall is the more technical fighter. Striking wise, grappling wise, submission wise, wrestling, submission, striking, boxing, everything. Than Dvalishvili. Where Dvalishvili excels is that he just has so much heart, and has an insane cardio and the same pace, same pressure. But I think Umar will do a good job of being able to stick and move, stuff the takedowns, score his own takedowns, take the back of Dvalishvili, and then start to go to work there. Like go to work on the feet, reverse Dvalishvili's takedown and forward pressure against him, break it down over the course of the fight. And again, probably like a situation where Dvalishvili is going to do a lot of work to try to go for a takedown just for Nurmagomedov to be able to reverse the position, take his back in the third round after wearing him down over the course of the fight, and then start to drop some ground and pound, get him to expose his neck, sink in the rear naked choke in the third round, and put Dvalishvili away in the third round via submission. So in this one, I have Umar Nurmagomedov via third round submission. Now to our main event, we have in the UFC lightweight division for the undisputed UFC lightweight championship of the world, reigning champion Islam Makhachev versus Renato Moicano, coming in on short notice. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going high confidence Islam Makhachev to beat Renato Moicano. Could be locked, but I ain't going to be like too crazy with like, oh, this and that. Moicano does have somewhat of a decent chance. And I think even coming in on short notice could be somewhat of a help to him. Maybe. But I think high confidence is good enough here. Islam Makhachev to beat Renato Moicano. Yeah, Moicano has high level BJJ, well-rounded fighter, big for the weight class, all these things and all that. But I think that Makhachev is just flat out the better fighter overall. And ultimately, I think the lack of a full training camp for this fight is going to hurt him as well. I think Islam Makhachev, like, it's going to be a little bit of a learning process and trying to get to know him a little bit as a fighter. Like, he knows who he is, but I'm saying, like, he didn't train for him. Moicano didn't train for Makhachev so much. So Moicano's probably going to be able to, keep him honest for like a round and a half maybe. But Makhachev still winning the round, still out striking, still landing a good shot, probably scoring takedowns, probably Moicano probably doing some good BJJ off his back, probably defending takedowns well, maybe going for his own takedowns. But again, giving Makhachev some work early, like, make him have to work for it on the feet, work for it on the ground, work for it in the scramble. But Makhachev still getting the better of him in all those positions on the feet, distance, range, the takedowns, the grappling exchange, is getting better of him. But Moicano, again, holding his own for like a round and a half. But eventually the pressure and the skill starts to come through, especially as Moicano starts to slow down and Makhachev starts to get a feel for him. And then once he starts to get a feel for him, and start also getting a feel for him, and also start to feel him wilt to his pressure and pace and not being able to keep up with that pace, not being able to keep up with that level of skill, not being able to keep up with that level of pressure, and not being able to keep up with that level of strength. Probably start to see Moicano wilt, break down, and I'm gonna say like a third round submission for Makhachev. Just break him down over the course of the fight. Again, Moicano gonna keep it interesting for really like a round and a half, which might seem like 2 rounds, but probably really like a 1.5, but still losing up to that point. And then third round, I think Moicano just starts to crumble. Makhachev starts to drop big ground and pound on him, and he's not able to deal with the pressure, the heavy top pressure, the hip pressure of Makhachev as he starts to get wilt. And then probably to that point, probably gives him a labored, his takedown defense starts to become labored, and Makhachev is able to sweep him to the ground. Probably get to like a half guard, not half guard, like a yeah, that is a half guard. That's not a side guard. Let's get it to a half guard, drop ground and pound, break him down. Probably transition to like a side control, maybe to mount. By the way, break him down, get Moicano to wilt. Moicano defense starts to, his grappling defense starts to come apart. He stops the defending strikes as well. Probably starts to get bust open, starts to leak. Maybe turns to his stomach. Then Makhachev goes for the sub. Could be take his back, go for the rear naked choke. Or he might go for his favorite sub, Adaris. By the way, I see a sub in the third round after Moicano starts to wilt and Makhachev starts to really come on and lock in. And I see Makhachev putting Moicano away in the third round via submission. So, in our main event, we have Islam Makhachev via third round submission. So, yeah, in this one, I have Islam Makhachev via third round submission. And I'm just going to scroll through the predictions very quickly. First one, Tagir Ulanbekov, decision. Bernardo Sopaj, decision. Rinya Nakamura, decision. Eileen Perez, decision. Bekoev, Azamat Bekoev, decision. Grant Dawson, decision. A lot of decisions. Bowden Guskov, second round TKO. Jailton Almeida, second round submission. Peyton Talbott, second round TKO. Rainier DeRitter, second round submission. Jamal Hill, second round TKO. Umar Nurmagomedov, third round submission. And in the main event, Islam Makhachev, third round submission. And yeah, that concludes my fight predictions for the full card of fights for UFC 311, Makhachev versus Moicano. And as always, thanks for watching. Peace out.